Here's your midweek sort of machining video. What we're going to do is make some sort of a register as far as graduations go to line up with a dot that I'm going to just stamp into the top of this side piece that I made on the Z1R custom rear swing arm, the DME swing arm, so you can align the rear wheel if you need to adjust the chain. There's no way to do it now besides looking down the chain with a chain alignment tool. So what I've done is I've made one already, show you how I did this in the next one. But essentially it's going to go like this, and I will paint it black, probably a matte black, so it's easier to see the lines. And then we'll just line it up to the hole on an existing mark, on a mark on this little scale rather. And then because I know the wheel is on alignment right now, and therefore whenever the chain is adjusted, we can, whoever does it can just align a dot that's going to be on the top of this thing to a mark or between the marks or what have you. Because otherwise there's no other way to do it. And I don't know why DME doesn't do this, but they don't put any marks on it whatsoever, no graduations at all to align anything. And I think that's dumb. But anyway, that's what we're going to do. Each one of these pieces is 2.30 inches long. I just randomly picked that number and I machined them square. So they're both the same length and the same thickness this way, which is about 5/8 of an inch. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lightly fly cut the top of this because just for surface finish purposes, but and to thin it out a little bit. But this thing is barely, and I mean barely, in the vise here. So the other one held, but this one's being a little bit more of a naughty workpiece. We'll see what we can get out of it. Take a few thou at a time and just clean it up basically. As you can see, it's actually cocking it because of the moving jaw is doing this to it, but it's all right. It'll all be good. I just hope it doesn't throw it out of the vise, but probably will. Okay, now the next operation is we're going to use an edge finder and pick up just one side is fine. See, this being 2.230 in length, 2 inches, 230 thousandths. I just kind of experimented with numbers because my math skills suck. I came up with 0.230 between divisions to get them pretty even here. Of course, that includes the first division, which is the edge. But you can see it's pretty even because I used the overall length as the number in which to divide the divisions into. So it comes out pretty even. So that was my whole goal. If it wasn't perfect, that's fine. But what we got to do is just find an edge, and this is where our DRO would really come in handy. You got to pick up an edge anyway, but as far as the divisions go, I got to use an indicator. But we need to get the edge first. All right, the center is 200 thou, so we'll first move over 100 to come to the edge, the actual edge of the part. And then we'll make our first mark at 230 thou from that edge. So 100, 200, and 30. Pretty simple stuff. What I'm using to make the marks is just a center drill. It's a brand new, I don't know what number center drill this, number 4 or something, number 2. It's a number 2 center drill. It works really well. About a 10,000th depth of cut on it, and it makes a nice mark. Anything bigger would be too wide, I think, and this is kind of borderline too wide in my opinion as well, but it works pretty well. So I got the other one laying here so I don't screw up my different lengths and put the long one first by accident. So we're at the first mark. I've re-zeroed my indicator so I can go back to 0 if I bump it or something. all I have to do is reset the indicator then, which often happens. So all we do is we use the y-axis and just run it in and out with a little WD-40 on it. Pick up the top, or at least close to it. Gauge this fine feed. Try to engage the fine feed. Now as far as the length of these, I'm just eyeing them in. They don't have to be perfect, but I want them one long, one short, you know, short and long, that sort of thing. All right, I'm just touching now. I'll use the Quill DRL. We'll just do about 10 thou. This will be the short one then. Now move over another 230, 100, 230, re-zero. Do it again, but this will be a long mark. Long mark, rather. Longer. That one I think I made a little longer than I wanted to, but oh well. Such is life. Rinse and repeat. So let's do a time warp. All right, so there's two of them. They don't have to be identical, but they're pretty damn close. Lines are a little different length, but who cares? Yeah, so like I said, I'm gonna paint both of these black, like a matte black. You'll still be able to see the lines, and they'll blend in a whole lot better, because otherwise these are gonna stand out like a sore thumb. So I gotta soften the edges on these by hand, clean them up a little bit. Prep them and then shoot them with some paint. Now how I'm going to secure them, if you will, I'm not going to paint the back sides, just the edges in the front is essentially just like Gorilla Glue, like cement, because there's no way to drill into the top, because of that block that's in there is right in that spot where the axle goes through. And what I mean is this guy inside there that does the pulling on that stud. You said stud. And so there's no room in there to do that. The only way to do this is to use some sort of adhesive, so that's what I'm going to do. And it'll be fine, it'll stay. So, but at least it'll give some reference, because otherwise there's absolutely no reference. I wish I had thought about this when I was machining the swing arm. If I had thought about it, I would have just done the same thing, chosen a width between divisions, an overall width I should say, and a width between divisions, did some simple division and come up with those divisions, and then just scribe them the same way on the mill, but I didn't think about it at that time. So yeah, so this is what we're going to do, and all I got to do is I got to carefully with a punch, I'm just going to pop a dot in there and then touch it up a little gold paint so it doesn't rust, and that'll be visible as well. We'll just line it up to one of these guys, and when we put it on, as far as the adhesive goes, and then there'll be a visual reference, because like I said, I know this wheel is straight right now because I used that tool that you put on the rear sprocket to look down the chain to make sure it was straight when I initially set this up. So that being a reference point, it should be fine for the future when this thing has to come back a little bit. Because you know, it's going to need adjustment. I mean, there's no question about it. I don't anticipate any forward, but toward the back. So anyway, yeah, fun little project. And usable. You know, it's I think it's really more a necessity in this situation. But I'll show you the finished product here after get them all painted and mounted. All right, so this is the sort of finished product. I don't have this glued down yet. The paint's not dry enough. It's a satin, not a matte paint, by the way. I want to be able to clamp this down, you know, using this clamp once it dries, if I can use this one. I'm not sure if it'll reach. It might just over here, yeah. Either way, I'm going to clamp it once I glue it in, but I'll wait till tomorrow when this paint's nice and hard, otherwise it'll dig into that soft paint. The paint's not quite hard yet. This is a satin, by the way. I didn't have any matte black, just Rust-Oleum satin. Came out pretty good. And you can definitely see the lines with no question, and it doesn't stand out like a sore thumb being aluminum. And what I ended up doing was I ended up taking the axle out, jacking up the bike, just so the tire was just touching the deck, pulling the axle out, and then putting these on the vise and using a file to make the notch, putting it back in, touching up the gold first. And yeah, I think it came out all right. It's going to be functional. The marks are, I just kind of guessed on both sides, but when I laid these over each other when they were off, this mark was exactly in the same spot when you line the center hole up. So I'm like, wow, that's cool. So it really didn't matter. As long as you line the mark up to a mark on here, on both sides, and you know the wheel is in a centered position as far as the chain alignment goes, doesn't matter, because these are spaced exactly the same on both sides at 230 thou apart, and as long as you're lined up to this one and lined up to the other one, then the next mark is going to be exactly the same distance on both sides no matter where this notch is. So that worked out pretty well, I think. Yeah, so not much of a machining video, but you know, it's something. You know, get out and do something. That's what I say. So that's what we're doing. Thanks for watching. Catch you on next video.